let's do it. Hey, I'm Luke Miller, and welcome to Real New York Tours. New York City, a place of daily irritations, occasional horrors, hourly tests of will, sometimes even courage, and huge dollops of beauty. Since day one, when the Dutch got here in 1624, New York has been what I call the world's largest laboratory. And the experiment being really, I think, the coolest experiment of all time. And that's to see if all the people from all over the world can live on a couple little tiny islands and not kill each other. Today, we're going to be exploring a lot of New York City history. This is where John Wilkes Booth was living when he planned the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Architecture, and behind me is this big, beautiful Beaux Art French-style, very decorative wedding cake-looking like building called the Ansonia. Pop culture. This was the genesis of a very famous expression we have in this country, and that's to 86 something. And a little bit about my own personal life, and that's because I'm a born and raised New Yorker. We're kind of becoming a rare breed these days, on the verge of extinction. You're probably going to see us perhaps in museums, stuffed in dioramas, flagging taxi cabs, but I'm getting way ahead of myself here. So let's stop the jabbering and let's head off to our next location. Now, when I was a teenager, we used to explore these tunnels and go find the old abandoned train stations down here. I always called this subway the Great Equalizer. You ride this subway, guys, and you'll see the whole world sitting next to you. Welcome to the Upper West Side and Central Park. The Dakota was considered one of the first luxury apartment buildings to be built in New York City. Throughout the years, tons of celebrities have lived here, but its most famous resident, of course, was John Lennon and Yoko Ono. I mean, what kind of world do we live in where John Lennon is murdered and Barry Manilow continues to put out records? Greenwich Village has always been a place for the left-wing, liberal, progressive-thinking counterculture, bohemians, novelists, poets, artists, musicians of the world. Right behind me at Cafe Wha is where Jimi Hendrix was discovered, Bob Dylan, I'm embarrassed to say in the same line, Kool and the Gang. Arthur's Tavern is one of the oldest jazz clubs in the West Village. Washington Square Park is a burial ground. The city of New York estimates that roughly 20,000 people are buried underneath this park. The arch was built to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the year that George Washington took the oath of office as our first president. Numerous people have sworn that they have seen the apparition of a young woman hovering in this alleyway. Now, this beautiful courtyard inspired a wonderful short story by the writer O. Henry. He climbed up there in the middle of the night during a wicked storm, and he painted one solitary leaf. If we were standing here 400 years ago, we'd be standing in water. This was the site of the old Minetta Brook. These Turkish baths eventually became a nightclub, as, you know, all Turkish baths do, right? I have an idea. Let's put a farm on the roof with live goats, chickens, and cows. So P.T. Barnum of the circus paraded roughly 21 elephants over the Brooklyn Bridge. That real-life murder was the inspiration for the movie On the Waterfront. Charlie, I could have been a contender. Now I'm just a bum. What you don't see is that underneath these streets here is a maze of tunnels that the Chinese built. The CIA were renting out apartments and using them to do experiments with LSD. Our tax dollars hard at work. I have friends that probably would have volunteered. But out of all those explorers that came into this harbor, Henry Hudson was the only one that had the wits about him to realize that he had found something absolutely incredible. New York City is only 400 years old, and we have become the undisputable economic, cultural capital of the world. But there's an endless amount of great stories to discover. So welcome to Real New York Tours. I'm Luke Miller. Join me and our team of other real New Yorkers as we ride the subway, pound the pavement, and explore the cracks and crevices of real New York neighborhoods. See you on the streets of the city.